Welcome, everybody. My name is Dan C. Bearded. I am back home. Just got back from the airport about an hour ago. Was able to help the kids get to bed and help with Sam. I was able to take a shower, and we are here ready to roll. Sincerely excited to hang out. Sincerely excited to talk about the weekend, Commands Corner, and we're going to bring in the doctor in just a little bit here, you guys. He's getting all his doctor stuff ready. You know, you got to have the scrubs, and you got to get everything like sanitized before you come in. So don't worry. The star of the show, Mr. Nick, will be here. But if you guys could, please, on your way in or at any point, hit the thumbs up, the like button on this stream, and then share this out if you have some friends that might want to learn about me, Nick, and this company, and all these amazing people in the chat, including Jill, who is the co-owner of this great company. So let's say hello to our friends real quick. We have Dan B, Leo, G-Tone, Banana Goat, Jordan Jones, Max. Who else we got in here? David Hill, OG Fitzroy, Zach Tollbooth Willie, Mr. Jacked Up Jacob. We have in JB. Awesome. And also, by the way, you guys, this weekend on Saturday, I will be judging the Great American Beard Classic, which is in Detroit. It is the second largest beard competition in the United States. Has to be right up there in the top 2 or 3 for the world as well. So if you guys are going to be able to come out and hang and meet me, that would be amazing. Then I could meet you guys, and we'll see if we can pull any like portal magic and somehow teleport Nick over there and go win a second national type championship. Who knows? But I'm getting a little bit ahead of I'm getting a little ahead of myself over there. So let's go ahead, you guys. I'm going to bring in the man that started this company way back when, the man that defends this country and the world from cybersecurity, the man that's raising an exceptional young human, the man that is married to this wonderful person that they continue to make each other better and better and better, someone that has taught me more than I could ever imagine in the last couple of years, and someone that I consider a dear friend of myself. If you guys could, in the chat, please help welcome Mr. Nick Phelps, a.k.a. Dr. Nix himself.
Boom.
Nick, how you doing? Camera looks great.
Dude, you know what I figured out what it is actually every time that I've had an issue streaming at home now, because I never use this thing except for whenever I get, whenever I'm doing this at home. So in the little Logitech HD stream cam guy that I got, there's the Logi Tune app. And in the main screen, I always tell it, no filters. I say just no filter.
Yeah.
Apparently, there is a filter option on another tab that has original as a filter. So you have to click the original button to make it give you the original video with, you'd think saying no filter would. Logitech, listen, I know you guys are big fans over there in Japan. You need to fix that. The UI is just, it's always been a problem, but this is just, come on.
There you go. And
amateur hour.
That is crazy. I will say, I was like, it seems like there's a filter on.
And that's the only reason I even clicked on it. I was like, filters. There's no original? Is original a filter?
So interesting. And yes, real quick, you guys, this is a live stream that we've done every Tuesday for 107 episodes in a row. Generally speaking, we're at 1 o'clock unless it's not possible, or in case there's like a special occasion and we want to go live later. And we've, again, 107 in a row, whether it's been flying from San Antonio, drive, and then getting on, or Nick flying from Philadelphia, or Nick having, this big sickness that's going across the country and world and still streaming, waking up for an hour, and then streaming, and then going back to sleep afterwards. We are dedicated. We love this. Nick, I think you know where I'm going with this. What do you call this stream for yourself and then for me as well? What is it for us?
This is therapy, man. This is our beard therapy. This is, it's a tight-knit group. Like, got problems, talk about them. If something's going awesome, talk about it. But it's 1,000% a therapy session. That's why if we have a topic, we get to it at like the 45, 50-minute mark, and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Because we just, whatever is in our brains, we get in here and just like, like Jill says, just tea.
Yeah, it
Tea
really
time.
is. And
But for
sometimes we
dudes, what do you call tea? Call it's beer. That's what
it's
whiskey. Give me the whiskey. Come on, let's
something.
hear it.
Speaking of that, what you sipping on? Dynamite would like to know.
Dynamite would be happy to know that this is the rare occasion where one, it's available without a very long drive and a significant wait in line. But I can't really drink many big IPAs anymore. But this is a Substance from Bissell Brothers.
Now, where's that out of?
They're out of Portland, Maine.
Okay.
And you got to love their logo. It's three brothers that started it, and their last name is Bissell. So the logo is actually three B's.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like brass knuckle bees almost,
That's really cool.
Yeah, they have really cool artwork. It's like they do a really good job with it. The guy, Pete Bissell, one of the brothers, his previous career before his crazy brother Noah's brewery took off, and now it's like a cult following. I think their new property and brewery they bought was a $15 million facility paid for in cash. Like they're killing it. But Pete was a graphic designer and a photographer beforehand. And so he still does what he was doing, but except for his family business now.
Right. Kind of like someone else I know. Someone that was a photographer, but still does it, but for a family business.
Weird. It's like things come full circle. That's why it's like, oh, before I forget it, sorry, things do come full circle. And this has to do with that, taking all your skill sets and using them at once. I wrote it down the other night because it was on the, if you guys haven't watched it, it's on YouTube. It's the Heavy Music Awards. Like if you guys are into metal at all or like that kind of world, it's really cool. It's like the AMAs except for just heavy music. And it's hosted, I think this one was in London, if I'm not mistaken. But this chick gets up there and she talks about how she says, thanks to music, I'm mostly mentally stable and at a really good point in life. And she puts the mic down and she walks back. She's like, oh, I almost forgot to say it. I told myself I was going to. She's like, if you think you're too old to follow your dreams because it's too late, ask yourself, what if you're wrong?
Yeah.
Like, what if that's when you were supposed to start? Like, what if you say that and then all of a sudden 20 years goes by and there was like this fork in the road where you could have done whatever you wanted to, but you're like, I'm 40. I can't go a different direction now. Right. I think she started that band when she was in her 40s. She had never been even in a band before. And now she's like getting huge awards.
See if I can find it. There's a chart, successful people. There's a chart where you have the people that started to find their success at like later years of their life. And it's like such a cool chart to see and kind of like where these like people that we just assume are just like these people that have been doing it forever, but they didn't start it until they were like much later in their life, such as Stan Lee. He didn't publish his first real hit until he was 40, which was the Fantastic Four.
See?
Mm-hmm. And
crazy how that goes.
So many other ones where you find these stories of people like making their career much, much later than what many people today would be like, oh no, I'm too old, I'm stuck in my ways, and everything changes. Samuel Jackson didn't really get a hit until he was 46 years old. Now he's a household name. Sam Walton didn't open the first Walmart until he was 44. I mean, we could keep going and going and going and going. It's pretty dang amazing.
Dude, it's crazy. And it's like, you think about it, you're better at starting things later in life. Like you've learned a lot, you know what I mean? Like if you happen to start something when you're 26, like good on you. But the way I look at and do things and follow through with stuff these days is much different than when I was 26, which still isn't perfect. So you can imagine the train wreck I was then.
Oh, geez.
Dude, I'm loving the hat.
Okay, so we got some things that we got to cover here.
And
and
That
as you
thing.
guys will kind of figure out, stuff just kind of flows into, you guys bring up things, we bring up things, and somehow it always circles back to what we want to talk about in like a really crazy way. But yes, James, thank you. If you guys could hit that thumbs up, if you could share it out, we're going to have a great time tonight, you guys. And if you have any questions, please feel free. I've got a couple starred, and it actually matches what Nick just said. But real quick, comment on what you had just said about things coming full circle and taking like these skills earlier in life and then bringing them back later on and into different areas. And I do want to talk about our weekend because you got a story that I have not heard yet and want to hear. I've got some stories, but tattoos. And oh yeah, buddy. You know I got you. So most of you know I was in San Antonio this weekend at a barber beauty expo, and I was an educator in probably my biggest show, my biggest expo. And it was cool because they had like banners up with my name. They had TVs playing with my, like, throughout the whole, like, the expo, TVs with like my face on it and just different like things, which was really cool. Now, this expo center is massive, and so they had multiple expos going on. One of them was a bodybuilding like world competition. So you had all the wild like spray tans, you know, the ones that are just like absurdly fake, like you just know, and I think it's to show off like the muscles and the veins.
Did you go jump in the booth? You're like, spray me.
Right.
I want to look like a bearded golden god.
Right.
I want the Trump tone.
That was going on. Well, there was another expo that was going on, and it was for educators, specifically two sides of things. One was superintendents around the country, and then two, companies that want to sell crap to schools. It really makes you lose faith in the education system when you see these superintendents getting fine-dined and at this expo center and in the lobby at the hotels at 1 a.m. and all this stuff. Like, this is not how education should be ran. This is not a business. With all that said,
it is a for-profit business.
Oh my gosh, entirely. And with that said, all of these superintendents across the country were there. And they have like this high stature, you know, if you're in the education system, superintendent is as big as it really gets. Well, they walk into an expo center and they see my face all over TVs. They see my name all over banners and me everywhere. And I get to talking to people in the elevator, in the lobbies and stuff. What are you here for, Bo? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm a superintendent. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I was an educator for 12 years. And like one of them literally goes, and I'm talking to him like this. And he goes, is that you on the TV? And I go, yeah, I guess so. And he's like, it was just kind of like a full circle moment where it was like, I felt so disrespected at the end of my career by superintendents specifically. And then to come here and have a superintendent talking to me at a superintendent conference saying, are you the one on TV behind me? And it's like, yeah, oh yeah, that's my name right there too. Yeah. It was really cool. It was full circle to the max.
You know, and you're being super classy the way that you say it, but like in your head, there's got to be that nana boo boo, stick your head in doo doo moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like the
it's just chest up.
It's like, you guys didn't like me.
Yeah.
No, I was there. I did the, yeah. No, you guys, no, you know, I was just way too out there for you. So now I'm just educating people without a structure, and it seems to be working out much better.
And I was there helping people. They were there getting things and collecting things and stuff. It was just, when you said full circle moment, that was really weird because that kind of summed up my whole weekend. Like, of course, there's a superintendent educator conference right next door in the same building, like the next door. And of course, they have, it was just really cool. It was the entire full circle moment.
Very serendipitous indeed. Yes. That's for sure.
Now, oh my gosh. Now, you got to stop saying stuff that brings me to other topics, Nick. God, you said serendipitous. So,
gotta stop using them high dollar college words.
So that's what I'm talking about. My next story, and I still got your other comment. I'm getting there, but I flew Delta to San Antonio from Detroit direct. Fantastic. Detroit has its own little terminal for Delta. Easy in, easy out. My flight there, early morning. It was me, nobody in the center seat, and then dude that slept the whole way at the window. Beautiful.
And then the flight back, you gave them a chance to start screwing up during the day, and you left in the late morning, didn't you? And then their acronym of their name lived true, which is doesn't ever leave the terminal or doesn't ever leave the airport.
Delta was fine. Delta was entirely fine. But with that said, I sit down. I'm at the window seat. and there's a spot in between me, and then there's a girl who reminds me of my sister. She's probably 22, young girl, professional. She was there at like a work trip, and also only word I'd said to her the entire flight was, hey, do you mind if the shade is up or down? Like, because sometimes, when I'm trying to like chill and somebody has the shade up and it's just like beaming in their eyes, I'm like, please put it
make
down.
it stop.
But if they're at the window, like, I'm not going to ask them. So I just asked her, I'm like, hey, do you want this up or down? And she was like, I don't care. I'm like, okay, cool. The only word said the entire time. Well,
beautiful.
They close the door. They're like, we're all set. I'm like, yeah, nobody in the middle. Nope. Her friend comes over, sits down. Same thing. Looks like a clone of her, 22, not sisters. They live in different states, but they worked for the same company and met this week for the conference, became instant friends. I'm going to put this very matter-of-factly, guys. I am not exaggerating. I am not insulting. I'm not doing anything than explaining what just happened, I don't know, 2 hours ago when I got off the plane, which is not very long ago. They were having a competition to see who could appear to be the least intelligent. Is the only possible way I could explain this 3 hours of sitting next to these two girls. And it started, you just said serendipitous, right? Even if you didn't know what that was, you might be able to put context clues together and kind of figure it out. Well, they're doing something on their phone, and they go, "Oh, what's a homophone? What's a homophone? What's this?" And I'm like, like when two words are, but different. No, no, okay, no idea.
No.
She said, "Oh, it's when it's when it's someone a normal word that's somebody's name." Like if someone were to be named Adidas.
You could pick that word apart and just be like, so same and audible.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, and I was just sitting there. And at first I was like, maybe I'll just chip in and be like, oh, a homophone, it's blah, blah, blah. No, I stayed back. I was really proud of myself. And then they get talking more. And it was and I'm saying this, they were doing it on purpose to try and impress the other person that they were more unintelligent. And they were like, and the entire speak was, I'm like, I can't, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making fun of them. I am just explaining this real situation.
Dude, I live around that in this part of the world here. So I'm following you.
I don't. This was crazy. And they're just going back and forth about this stuff. And it gets really good because they're like talking about this whole week and doing all this stuff. And then on Delta, you have like the little globe where you can watch your flight and see stuff. It's actually pretty cool. And they zoom out, and the one girl, and they were completely sober too. And the one girl goes, oh my God, it's so trippy when you think we're just like on this ball just floating through the universe. And I'm like, I mean, it is, but
well, at least she got the ball part right. At least you weren't floating on this flat map.
But then she goes and she turns and she goes, oh my God, it just hit me. I've never realized like the other side of the world is just like ocean. I had no idea there was so much ocean. The other girl goes, me too. Right now, I just realized it. And they're going back and forth about how they didn't realize there was so much water on this planet, and that if you looked like across the world, that there was more water. I'm
also more land.
Losing my mind.
Continents over there.
They start to discuss the guys that they had met during this work trip and how some of them were cute, and they couldn't find a picture of them. This is the last story on these girls. They don't
I bet you there are some quality, some quality people that, these girls attract.
Oh, when I said I didn't say a word to them, I was running from any kind of interaction. This was like my least favorite type of people in the world. But the one was describing this boy she thought was really cute. The other one was like, show me a picture. She's like, I can't find a picture. Wi-Fi sucks, and blah, blah, blah. And then they're going back and forth. The girl that's in the middle is the one talking about the boy, and her friend is on the aisle. And she goes, okay, let's describe him. And we're like, all right. And she goes, facial hair. And the girl goes, no, clean shaven. I don't like facial hair. I really like clean shaven guys. Guys, our elbows are touching. We're right here. And she's having this very loud conversation about how she doesn't like facial hair and how
That's when you just like decide to start braiding your beard real quick. Can you hold this? Thanks.
I was just like distraught. I'm like, you're either doing that on purpose or you're so annoyingly dumb. I don't want to say dumb, but dumb that you don't even realize like social cues and anything. It was just so crazy.
Oh, I mean, like basic mechanic thoughts, I don't think even go through those people's heads like all the way.
It was
So like
crazy.
any active thought towards like a nuance of a situation is just unreasonable to expect once you hear the previous discussions.
Oh, it was so crazy. And they were, oh, I could go on and on, but it was a very, it could be far worse, but it was a very interesting
I don't
ride
know.
home.
I don't even know how it happens over here, to be honest with you. Like, you go to Boston and like you're in line getting like a breakfast sandwich somewhere in the morning, and like people are like precise. They have somewhere to be, like they order and like they're good, and I'll just piggyback on this. And
Yeah, hit us.
this is the end of just venting about like what the hell has happened to people in the world.
This is what we do, guys.
So, okay, you go to Boston, getting breakfast sandwich, girl in front of you, early 20s or something, and she's like, yeah, ham, egg, and cheese bagel on the spinach wheat bagel. Yep, okay, no, that's fine. Sounds good. Okay, boop, bye, thanks. And she walks away. And then somehow you go to Marshfield, and it's like you're in Southern California after like the bus from Burning Man just dropped a bunch of people back off, and they're still a little out of it. Like, this was 2 weekends ago. Paul was in town, my buddy Paul. And so I go into this place and I put a phone in order ahead, but this place has one line, even if you're going to order and pay versus call ahead and just go pick it up and pay and leave. Same line.
Yeah.
And this damn thing goes around the building sometimes. So I'm like relieved when I see there's only a couple people ahead of me. In one, this girl, early 20s, and she's in line. And she just starts ordering. She's like, I needed this one on a honey bagel. And it's like she almost sounds like she's like it sounded at first. I thought it was like a speech impediment, and I was like, oh man, look at her, she's doing good. And then I realized no, it was just like pure environmental. You can tell it's just how her and her friends talk. And then in the middle of ordering, she's like, oh wait, does she mean she wants 2 bagels? Looking down in the order that she has written on her phone after she's ordered 6 sandwiches now. And she's like, oh, I don't know if she wants 2 or if she just means like ham and sausage. Like, oh, hold on. And she like calls her friend. Like, and there's a line behind me that goes around the counter, down the counter, and then like toward the door. And she's like, hold on just one second. She's like, yeah, I know. Oh my God, I know, right? Hold on. Did you want ham and a sausage bagel? You want 2 bagels or you want 1? And that conversation actually went surprisingly well. And then she went back to the train wreck of this order. And I just don't know. It was like she was turning it on for like the girl at the order counter. I was like, what is this?
Pause. That's exactly. So Arden, first
off,
on
switch?
I got your thank you card today from the P.O. Box. Shout out to Arden.
Hold
thank
on,
you,
Arden.
my man. All right. So Nick's got something too. But you come back with that, Nick. Arden, what Nick just said there, he goes, it was like she turned it on. So Arden's being super kind, as he always is, and he says, let's chalk it up to at least they enjoyed themselves. No, so when I told you guys I was being 100% serious and I wasn't making fun of them, I wasn't exaggerating, I really was not exaggerating. When I said they were competing to see who could act like the dumbest, they really were. And it's not like my interpretation. I know people super well. It's like a superpower of mine. They were competing and turning it up to see which one could outditz the other, outdumb the other. And there's no way in the world that's actually enjoyable. They felt pressure like they had to fit in with the other one, so then they kept countering it and countering it and countering it.
They kept going.
Yes.
It was like they were doing the hand thing with like the hand stacking.
Yep. The globe thing that I told you about was when we were on the runway, like landing to go back into the airport. They kept one-upping each other. It was not enjoyable for them. I could feel the competition because they had just met. They spent a week together very potently. Then they were leaving. They're like, I got to let this really be known. So they did like turn it up, and that can't be fun. Nobody likes to have to try and act in a certain type of way. And other than yourself. And so, yeah, there's no way. But
you got to leave people with that, like a really good brain worm. You got to be like, you tortured me this whole flight. I'm just going to leave you with, hey, just because people say you're paranoid because you think everyone's after you doesn't mean they aren't. All right. See you guys later.
Yeah, right. There, 2 things can be true at once. Doesn't need to be mutually exclusive. Yeah.
Because you think it's true doesn't mean it isn't.
Now, back to your question, back to to kind of comboing here. Hat story. Leo says, how's the fam like the hat? And then how's Sam liking the hat in person? Okay. So we get to San Antonio. I had no intentions of buying a cowboy hat.
Yeah, how'd this happen?
So we go in, we're walking around this mall that's attached to the hotel right when we get there because we want to get dinner. And then there's a shop, and the guys we were with were like, hey, let's go look at cowboy hats and cowboy boots. We're like, all right, cool. When in Texas, you know. And then they're like, man, we should all like get hats. We actually really like these. And one of the guys was Mexican, and he's like, oh, I got a bunch. I'll teach you, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, there's no way I'm rocking a cowboy hat, you guys. And they're like, just come in. I'm like, all right, cool. And I'll go with anybody. You know, I'll flow. I'll vibe with anybody. While
Just
being
remember,
myself.
don't get into a car with strangers unless it's a limousine.
Okay. I like that. Now, the first hat I touch in this whole place. Now, keep in mind, I've never worn a fitted hat in my life. I have no idea the size of my head. I only wear snapbacks. That's it. And I really, yeah, right. Darian says, to be fair, it's hard to not buy one when you were there. And Ralph, no. Ralph says, did you ever consider just being that? No. You guys underestimate my ability to read people after being a teacher for 12 years.
He has a keen sense of intuition.
Yeah, being a coach for 16 years, my entire job was reading people and bringing the best out of them. This was an act, and the reason I know that is because they would shift to talking about work, and they would have very intelligent things to say about getting accounts, and this company was not going to go with us because of this and that, and then they would like almost catch themselves and be like, oh shoot, that was way too smart, and then they would like cut back. So no, like,
well, these are the people that work for like Kensington. You know, they went to like Babson Business School. They were in like a sorority, and they got out, got a job at Ernst and Young.
Yep.
And then they decided to move on from there and got their Goldman Sachs internship, and then they went over to McKinsey, and now they bill out $500 an hour for them.
Exactly. And you guys know me. I don't talk about stuff unless I really know it. I'm always fine with saying, I'm not sure that's not new. They were putting on an act, and that drives me more crazy than anything. But I've never known what my hat size is or anything. This is on a rack. There was like felt ones. I don't know if that's the proper term, but like cloth, like cowboy hats. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that one. I go like this. It was on kind of like a display, like a tree display, you know, that has them all like different layers. And I go like this. I grab it on the top off that display. And I go, okay, this is pretty cool. And I put it on. And this was my first time ever wearing any kind of a hat like this. I put it on, and I swear, like vacuum sealed. It went, and I was like, that's pretty strange. That fits like unbelievable. Like my head is perfectly in here. There's no
right where it's supposed to. You don't even need like the state trooper strap on the back to keep that bad boy in place.
Dude, it's pretty dang crazy. And so
I mean, that's like the sword in the stone moment. You're like Harry Potter getting his wand right then. You know what I mean? Like it's like the light shines down, and it's like Vader getting his helmet where it's like, but in Spaceballs where it was super dramatic.
Yep. And there was a mirror right there. And I instantly was like, I don't hate it. I don't hate it one bit. And I put it on, and I'm rocking it. Now I send a picture to Sam. I ended up posting that picture later. Everyone was raving about loving it. She was like, ha, 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 funny. I was like, oh, all right. And then I was like, we're thinking about getting hats to wear them for the show, you know, while we're in Texas and stuff. She was like, oh my gosh, that's so silly. I was like, well, dang, babe. I was like, you didn't say a single kind word about it. She was like, you don't wear cowboy hats. You don't have them. I'm like,
well, we don't live in Texas.
Yeah. And I get it, but I'm like, dang, okay. I think it looks pretty good, you know?
You were just trying to gauge the reaction when you break it to her that you already bought it for $350.
Now, I don't buy stuff for myself, but when she didn't have something nice to say, I sure as heck bought something for myself. So I got the hat, you know, partner, and I bought it, started rocking it. I entirely forget that it's on my head until I hit something with the side. I'm still figuring that out, guys, because I'm not used to having like this like, going around me, and I'll like
you have to pretend you're a moose and you have antlers.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing from time to time, but I'm figuring it out. And so I'm rocking it, and everybody loves it. Everybody's giving like genuine compliments. Texas, I'm not going to get going on a different tangent, guys, but this is how this happens if you're new here. Welcome, by the way, 60 people in the stream. Goodness gracious, crazy.
Let's just hang out. I mean, like, you know, we're here and this is what we do. So we're just going to keep doing it. Welcome.
And everyone's so nice in Texas. So many compliments. Now, it is a two-part equation. One part, I am around a lot of people whether in the expo or around the expo, that are in this industry, in this world. So they're more inclined to notice and say things. And especially when you have a nice haircut and everything, they're going to give comments. But even at restaurants, even at the airport, even at TSA was friendly. Like everywhere was so freaking friendly. I've never received so many compliments in my life. And then I got home, and then the question was how Sam liked the hat in person, and she liked it, and it seemed genuine. It seemed real. Was it like over the moon, like kiss me now once I put it on? No, but I
It
think
was
she
like,
digged
oh,
it. And
Stetson man, where have you been all my life?
right. So I absolutely like it. I
I love it.
also like being different. And so something like going to a soccer game in Michigan where I've never seen anybody wear a cowboy hat, I'm gonna rock one because I like different things. And so
Do it.
I'm gonna go, and I like standing out, and I think it looks good. I think it fits the like tattoos and the beard and
Oh
the
yeah.
bigger look, So
Oh,
I'm excited.
and Texas loves the weird. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they do.
like there's signs in Austin that say keep Austin weird.
Oh,
I mean,
stay
like,
weird, Austin. Yeah. Yep.
oh man,
Oh yeah, they love it. So
I love Texas is great. Like I've never had a bad time in Texas at all. And I've seen some stuff in Texas, like tornadoes, and I've seen the most unexpected, like outside the bar knockout things happen in Texas. Like got weird tattoos in Texas. I love Texas.
Okay. Real quick question, and then I'm going to pivot to something you just said. But Aaron would like to know how many months before your sides tucked neatly into a hair tie or bun. And I've been doing a bun and a double bun recently, so I can help my best with this too. But both of us have a hard time really giving a true, honest answer because we've just been
It
growing
varies
it.
on trimming too. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know what the heck I was doing for a long time. So like people are like, you know what I mean? Oh, speaking of, it's too, I did this, so I got to shave it off and restart. I've done so many dumb things with my beard that like, if I, told you guys what they are, everyone would just be like shaking their heads like, oh God, and this guy won a national championship. I guess I could just keep growing even though I messed it up.
Mm-hmm.
So here, to answer your question, it depends where you're looking. They still kind of don't like. So I used to keep, brace yourselves. This was until 2018. I didn't know. So I used to trim. There goes Dan. So here's what I thought. This is great. I didn't know that your beard had such a thing called connectors. I didn't know that. So I thought the way that you got this shape was by cutting those hairs. So I used to trim right here and I used to trim right here to keep all these hairs that exact length, thinking that edge is what gave you the profile of your beard. And oh boy, how wrong was I when I discovered, probably through one of Dan's videos, that your hair grows down and it kinks and it goes forward. Like when these hairs get long, they end up going with the rest of your beard. And where does it go? It doesn't go down through your chest, like straight down, right? It's got a curve to meet up with the front of your chest. So when it's getting pushed forward, wrong side of the camera, this one, when these get pushed forward, it creates this natural kink, like this curve right here. And then you can encourage that curve, obviously, with like an Aberlite, something like that, like balm, right? That's what I use our balm for. I used it for a long time to encourage that angle to come in because that's what I was after. So these hairs here, when they come down and they tuck into a bun, they're super long now, right? Like these things go into a bun, no problem. They're, 16 to 18 inches on their own. But I mean, so to be fair, I didn't put my beard in a bun or anything even like that until they were way longer, because that wasn't really a thing I even thought about doing, I guess. So it's hard for me to put to quantify the okay, so see that photo on the left? That was trimmed to that angle. So like that was full on 300, Spartan beard there. It was like
God
cut
of
to
War.
that shit. Yeah, and I would sit there and just like trim it with the razor and keep that shape going. And then I just let it, in 2018, I started letting it grow. And I had this squirrely period where these guys, if I did do something like this and I put it up, gotta do the triple here. But if I put it up like that, these guys would be like out here like that. And I think when I first started even doing a bun a couple years ago, they still had some sticking out. But I think they got jealous, right? And they just decided to like get their act together and start going. But yeah, I used to trim my cheeks. I used to trim way too far up under the beard on my neck. I used to trim these sideburn hairs starting way too low down. Like I'd start down here, so they were all bushy, and I'd be like, "Oh, they're too long. They're bushy. Cut them." And that just makes them bushy again when they grow out. Like, just let those bad boys go. I think there's something to be said for, I think making the wrong decision trimming is way worse than making the wrong decision in your mind then by just letting it grow and see what happens in a month. I'd say it's like when you're sending a harsh email to a coworker or someone you work with. Like if you know it's harsh, just save it as a draft, read it in the morning, and if you still feel like sending it, send it. And I say the same for beard trims. Like if you think you need to do X, Y, and Z to like get it to do what you want, and it's drastic, wait a day. Just think about it.
Yeah.
And if you still want to do it a day later, go for it. But I can't tell you how many times I hear from friends and customers, people are like, "Oh, I'm so mad. I was doing this and I trimmed it and I got mad and I just shaved it all off and now I'm regrowing." Like, number one rule for growing a long beard, if that's what you want, don't trim it.
It's very simple. When in doubt, grow it out.
That's what it is, man.
Yep. No.
Let it grow. Just remember Frozen, Disney Frozen. Let it grow.
Yep. So I would say it's his question was months. I don't think it's possible to answer in months, Aaron, because neither of us had a straight line journey, and the amount of the time when Nick could put his beard into a bun properly is so long ago that he would have no concept of it.
But, and I didn't do it then.
Right. So what I think is a better way to like quantify it or ask about it would be how many inches would it be to get to that? And I have a pretty good way of answering because I've just more so recently been able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right now at like 15 and a half inches, and I now can do a double bun. I'm not to triple yet where Nick is at, but I can do a double. I could do a single at around 10 inches. At about 10 inches for the bun, I could put it up into a bun at about 10 inches. So yeah, Nick will be able to kind of show here.
And what I was going to do, so if I do a loose one, right?
Yeah.
What I do is I do a loose one and I go around twice and I make it like this big boy.
Yeah.
And I let that hang out there.
Well, do a normal, a shortest one you can, but like within reason of the side stay in. And then let's see how many inches are left.
Okay.
And then we'll be able to do some deduction from there.
We'll use our deductive prowess to reverse engineer this question.
Yeah.
So if I go if I'm like going to be on a boat and I went tight, right? So I did one of these. So we got one.
Yep.
We got two. We got three. We got four.
Jeez.
So if I go tight, I got a quad. Got the quad knot.
You don't need to be flexing on us. Get rid of the quad, please.
And then,
goodness gracious,
if I do a regular one and I'm not thinking about a one,
just one, just give me one, and then leave the tail dangling.
It won't even be a bun.
I know. This is for math purposes.
It's gonna be a pigtail. Let's see.
Everyone's trying their knot right now. The right beard knot right now. Okay, perfect. So from the bottom of that knot,
you got your fabric.
How many inches do we have left?
Well, we're about to find out.
Okay. Again, I believe mine was at about 10 inches when I could start to knot it.
I don't know. We might have a tape measure here.
That'd be cool. If not, we can do some deduction with your phone, figure out how long the phone is, and then kind of go from there.
Let's find it. We'll find an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper.
Yes, good call.
This is how we do most things, right?
Yep.
We'll put the corner here. Oh, hold on. See, it's just falling out. Okay, so we get that guy up there. And we got the corner of this guy.
Yep.
And we got... So that's 11 inches. So I got like 13 inches hanging out the end of the bun.
Okay. How long is your beard currently, do you believe?
Like 24, 25.
So you're right at that 10, 11 inch mark where you can start doing a bun. Yep.
I'd say so.
Yep.
I'd say so.
I've never gotten my beard stuck in a knot that I couldn't really get out. If I did, I would just get it a little bit wet, maybe add some oil. I can't imagine that being too much of a problem.
Yeah, you could hit it with some of our sanitizer works, or if you ever got a really bad like snarl like on the end where you get like, you know what I mean, where you get a bunch of the pieces tied together and it literally looks like a spider in the middle with all its legs hanging out. Take a couple fingers, put like a little drop of conditioner on the end of your finger and just rub the knot like this with the conditioner, and you can like literally slide it apart like that when you're done. It's like the Panthenol has like it just, you know, it's like Teflon for hair.
Right. If something, gets stuck.
Yeah.
So, okay. Got that. Beautiful. I do have a poll for you guys in the chat if you want to check that out real quick. And then beyond that, man, and guys, you'll find out that these streams get moving fast and there's so many things we want to talk about. I've already had some topics where I'm like, I can't even touch that. I can't even go over that. But I do want to talk about your weekend and stories real quick. And then if we have some time, we'll touch on Command's Corner real fast here. But you hit me with some surprise pictures this weekend and then had some stories about it. And I want to hear them. And I want you to tell people about, essentially, Nick got a new tattoo. How did this one come about? How was it different than your previous tattoos? And then just any kind of peripheral stories that you have to go with it.
All right. Well, since this is the, you know, you asked, and so I'll give you guys the full story here. So
he didn't know I was going to ask him either.
So my buddy who did a bunch of like this stuff, like my, you know, the love story of tacos and hot sauce out on a date with their friend, the taco truck.
Do and of course, forget my favorite one. Oh, yeah.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a chupa corn on the cabra. He is half chupacabra, half corn on the cob. He was born from a 2-color meme. That was like a little gift file from a text message that I got.
We just jumped to 73 viewers when you started showing skin. Just so you're aware, we are currently at 73 viewers, and it just jumped. So
you can find my OnlyFans at OnlyFans/Master Phelps.
Let's keep that in mind.
So make a quick note. No. Hold on. Okay, so the guy who does that, his name is Bobby Kane, out of Stinky Monkey, out of Kingston, Massachusetts. He's really, really good. Does cool stuff. His brain, he's an actual artist in addition to being a tattoo artist. So he's not a put things together in the outline, a stencil with he only does original pieces. He never does anything twice. And he's one of those kind of guys. He's super freaking talented. He actually just picked up the contract where he's now doing all of the new children's clothes characters for every TJX brand. So TJ Maxx, like all of those brands they come up with. And he's going to be basically any shirt that has like a character on it. There's mine there in the upper left. So here's what happened. So back in like June, July, he tells me that he wants to do a Friday the 13th tattoo on Friday the 13th in September. And he wants it, he wants to do something where he draws it. It's an original piece and kind of wants the creative freedom to do whatever he wants. So I was like, oh, dude, I'm your man. And so months go by. And I'm like, hey, man, we doing this thing in September. We're planning some trips. Just kind of want to know what I'm doing. And he's like, well, it's turned into a thing. I'm going to and this is him putting everything together. Like he literally sketches it all out and turns it into a stencil and then just fills it with amazing shading and color and stuff. I mean, the guy's incredible the way he does it all on his iPad, the pencil. Anyway, so he's had hundreds of people, of course, tell him at this point, like, I'm in, like, what do you want to do? And so I'm like, dude, all I got to say is that if you're going to do something, I hope you're cool with doing something from like Evil Dead with like Bruce Campbell as Ash and do like some kind of a mashup with Evil Dead. Cause that's like my favorite horror series. And so he's like, dude, that's my favorite horror series. He's like, I've been like thinking of a couple of really cool, this is it. He's like, I've been thinking of a couple of really cool Ash designs. He's like, what if it was like Ash with like dead-eyed eyes and like his shotgun in the back, but he had like a Freddy Krueger glove on and like Jason with the campfire scene was in the blade reflection. I'm like, yeah. So I hear all this. I don't hear this months before. I don't hear it weeks before. I don't hear it days before. So as you guys know, if you tune in regularly or if you know me, I'm a little bit of a control freak. I kind of like to, have my have a pulse on what's going on and be able to influence it. So Bob knows this, and it's historically driven him crazy about me working on tattoo concepts. And so Monday before Friday the 13th comes around, and I'm like, hey man, how we looking for Friday? He's like, oh good, I'm going to start drawing tonight. And I was like, cool. And that was it. So Tuesday rolls around, nothing. Wednesday rolls around, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll text him and see what's going on. And he doesn't text me anything. I'm like, all right, now he's messing with me. And you know what? I'm going to get him back. I'm going to mess with him. I'm not going to send him a text. I'm not going to ask. So Wednesday comes around, comes and goes. Thursday morning comes and goes. Thursday afternoon, day before the appointment, I don't even know when I'm coming in. I don't know how big it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know where we're putting it. None of these things. I've literally like released all control of at this point. And then so like it was like Thursday night, and I send him a text, and I'm like, hey man, what time am I coming in tomorrow? And he's like, 11:30. Still no comment about the concept or design, like whatsoever. And I'm like, oh boy. So anyway, I walk in, and you guys know how wide a massage table is. Tattoo table is about the same thing. And I see this piece of paper with that on it laying across the foot of the massage table, and it is like damn near the width of the massage table. And I was like, holy crap, that thing's perfect. That's awesome, dude. You killed it. I'm like, how big's it going to be? Because what I'm thinking is, he says he wants to shoot a video of a Friday the 13th tattoo. So to me, that says that he wants to start and finish a tattoo on Friday the 13th. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to have my first small tattooed from Bob. This is going to be cool. I'll be in and out like the burger. I'll be no problem at all. And he's like, oh, it's going to be that size. And I'm like, that size right there? He's like, yeah. I'm like, where? He's like, nah, on your leg somewhere. And I was like, all right. I'm like, well, you already have the bottom half of my left leg covered. Like, how does it fit? So I mean, like, if we're okay with a little more skin here, I'll show everybody how it fits. But I will preface this. I will be delicate, and I will not go like all the way up, maybe, because I did not anticipate that this tattoo stops about 3 finger widths away from a very sensitive area that I did not think through. I don't think thoroughly enough. Like, it's not a butterfly tattoo in my lower back. Like, people don't think through those, but I feel like maybe I didn't think this one through in a different way. So we'll do this here. Let's see.
Wow. Those are way like heavier lines than I thought.
Well, so what he does is he starts with the heavy ones, and he's got some really light ones here, like cracks in his teeth and like the veins in his neck and stuff like that. So, I mean, all that's really fine, but you see his finished stuff, like this thing, you know, you look at this guy and you don't realize that this has that thick or thicker lines in it. Like the way he blends the colors into the edge and the shading, all of that sort of disappears into the whole thing. But
wow.
So like the side of the knee, little spicy, inner thigh, very spicy.
Yeah.
And then end of the shotgun, which I won't even go all the way to the end of the shotgun, but it's a PG show. Okay. I told him while he was working on that, I'm like, all right, I'll tell you this, dude. Like when you're shading that with color, you have about 15 minutes at a time. Like make them count. Like I'll come in for a session. You can do some of the blade. You can do some of this, do some of that. You want to put brown and like the black wood grain into the shotgun handle. I'm going to start a stopwatch, and you got like 15 tops.
Everybody's loving it. And the request is to walk around town in a Speedo.
So this has slightly influenced my Halloween costume choices.
Ooh.
And I'm thinking, let's take a crowd poll here, because this is a new idea as of yesterday. Like, this is how this works, guys. It's just unfiltered, straight out of my broken box of rocks here, straight into your ear holes. So what do you think about Forrest Gump when he went on the long run and he grew the beard and the hair? and I'll just get his red hat from Bubblegum Shrimp with the fake wig attached to the hat, and I'll have the running shorts and the shirt.
There's a new poll saying yes or no for that costume. Nick, one more time, what is this costume that they're voting on?
Just go ahead and Google it real quick here.
Okay.
Look up Forrest Gump hat and wig Halloween costume, and it comes with the shorts, the shirt, and the socks, I might add.
Okay.
Banana Goat, this was about 5 hours.
With them short shorts right there. Okay, let's see this.
It's pretty good. I mean, here we go. So, like, I would just ditch the fake beard.
Just rock the beard?
It would be my beard. No, I'd get rid of the beard in the costume.
Yeah, I mean, just rock your beard.
Yeah, I would rock my beard with that hat and the fake hair coming out of it.
Yeah, I'm ending the poll because it's yes. Like that, I'm not allowing anybody to say no. That is a yes all day. And you're jacked, so it's going to work really well.
I mean, that's a winner ass costume there.
Yep.
I don't know. These thighs don't lie, though. I'm hoping those shorts can handle it.
Yep, that'll do it.
I don't want to be like Ted Lasso, the ex-manager for the team that she took over, and she's like, "I'm firing you because I don't want to look at anymore." Yeah, and he crosses his legs, and she's like, "And there's the other one." Okay.
Yep. But hey, it's Halloween. That's encouraged.
Hey, you know what? I mean, I'm not in Tampa though. Like that's like you can't do that up here. You got to be an actual human.
True.
There's rules and regulations in the Northeast here, Dan.
Yep. Jacob says, Dan, wearing the hat to the comp? I think I'm going to. I'm going to.
That's another, like, there's no option. That's a yes.
I think I'm going to. Has that crossed my mind? Many times. So, yeah, I think so. Yes. Why not? Why not? Who knows? Maybe I'll start talking with a little draw. We'll get crazy. Out there. All right.
And just like that, my running days were over.
Your good friend Chris says the shorts are too long, though.
Oh, you know what, Chris? You might have a point there. I might need to borrow a pair of yours.
No. Love that. All right. I do, as the host, need to stick to obligations here. Nick, last night had Command's Corner featuring Dr. Nix. You guys were tired after a long weekend. You had planned on going to bed throughout the first part of the show. You ended up staying up like I knew you would.
How do you not?
We have a lot of new people that have not heard from you after an experience like that, and every experience is unique. What would be your biggest takeaways from Command's Corner, even if it's in like angles or ways that people might
there's no angle. No. I don't even need to get creative. It's the same exact takeaway that it's always been. Okay. The first Command's Corner we ever did, right? And we've done like at least 2 a year, and then ramped up to, usually around 4.
Yeah, I think it's 5 this year. Yep.
Yeah. And so here's what happened. So when we first did it, the What's in Beard part of the Command's Corner came around. And the very first one, it was like, I had to look. Like it might have been like one person wearing the, number 7 and like someone wearing IPA or something like that, Yep. And then the second Command's Corner, it was like 10 people. And then the third Command's Corner, it was like 30. And then the next. And this one, when the What's in Beard came around, because everyone that comes to your stream sees the notifications and they know we're going to be on it, if someone has Dr. Nix in their cabinet, they'll typically put it on for Monday night for Command's Corner because they know it's coming, it's relevant, it's cool. Like, oh yeah, I really like this one if it's been out of rotation. And then last night, in my mind, anyone who might have had Dr. Nix that was planning on watching Command's Corner and has some of our stuff probably put it on. And I would have to say 90% of your chat had our stuff in Beard. And it was like when the numbers started creeping and we saw like more frequent, like we'd see Octane, we'd see this, we'd see Fable, we'd see, you know what I mean? We'd see True North and we'd see everybody else pop up. I mean, yeah, see, Jordan, I mean, that's what I do, right? I mean, you have to. And I have tons of my own stuff in the cabinet. I still try to do it when it's someone I like, right? It's just one of those things. It's just something your brain tells you to do it. But dude, the takeaway last night, I was blown away by the feedback. The reasons for the feedback is what really got me.
Yeah.
And the number of people with our stuff and beard have to be the top 3 takeaways. But going back to that number 2 real quick, I mean, I see a lot of commands corners, just like you guys do. And the feedback is, I love this stuff. This stuff smells awesome. This is great. I like the way it feels in my beard. I could almost divide down in half the number of our comments that actually didn't say anything about our product at all. Like maybe a quick blurb, like, I love Dr. Nick's blah. The reason I love Dr. Nick's as a company, and it would go on, and like I have to think it's part because of these streams, doing doctor's orders with you guys, and just for you to get to see like who we are as people. But like reading and then continuing to read the numbers, the reasons, for the positive feedback, it trumped everything. Like it trumped the number of positive feedback comments. It trumped the sales. I mean, it trumped just literally, it just beat out everything, because I mean, hearing that, you know, us as people is what brings, you know, this community together, and the way that we approach doing business, I guess, and I guess more importantly, it was a common thread last night, was just that we really value our customers, and we truly try to treat every single customer like they're our only one. And if there's something wrong or someone's not happy, that's where the real fun starts, because we want to turn those people into raving fans too. And then they come to Doctor's Orders, they come to Command's Corner. And it's just, it was just crazy to watch. It was just hearing about the products, you know, knowing, believing that you make something great, and hearing that it is from people who love it. I mean, obviously that feels incredibly validating, but hearing the personal connection side of the community was absolutely staggering. Like I didn't expect it.
Yeah, and it's potent. I mean,
it was
the concept that making quality beard products is not this crazy like rocket science thing is true. It's not. If you get a bunch of natural oils together, you can make something that's going to work. And
it's like my friend Dimitri. It's not rocket surgery.
Yeah, right. And it comes down to personal preference at that point. Now, obviously, there's layers to making sense, and then a product that's for the skin, the hair, and we can go on and on. To me, it was the potent feedback, like someone in all caps who's tried many, many, many companies saying, it saved my beard.
Dude.
People saying it is the only body wash that I will ever use again. It is what I use on my kids. It was very potent, very purposeful comments from people that don't just throw vocabulary around like that. They were very, very pointed, and they were just matter of fact. They weren't trying to blow smoke. They weren't trying to. They're just telling you, this is what I feel about this. This face wash clear. We had multiple people, and some of them are in the chat right now, that said it's cleared up their adult acne.
Dude,
do you know how big of a deal that is?
Oh, that's huge. And you know what really got me about that is I saw names pop up in that live chat that I know to be people who started off as very difficult to please customers. And I won't name names,
right?
But I know people who went through their first order and had exchanges. I knew people who went through their second and third order after those exchanges and had shipping issues. I know people who had broken products. I knew people who had reaction issues to certain essential oils because they didn't know they had an allergy to pine, and they've never actually put something on that had real pine in it before.
Yep.
So I know some people in that chat that were very difficult to please in the beginning, and then those same people had comments about either it wasn't everything. It was not like it was fanboying out like, oh, Dr. Nick's the only company I use in my bathroom. No, it was either it's the only butter I use. It's one of my favorite oils, but it's the only thing I put on my face for face wash. Or the beard wash and conditioner is the only thing I have in my shower for my beard, and their oil is one of my favorite in the rotation. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like those blanket statements of Dr. Nick's is the best. I hope I win a gift card. Like, right. You know, it wasn't at all that vibe. It was very much like these, like you said, it was like very personal feedbacks that were like, they hit home. I mean, it was huge. I mean, we felt it. So, I mean, if you were one of the people saying that stuff last night and you're here tonight, I mean, we couldn't have asked for any better feedback than what we got last night from you guys.
And there it is. Amber said Command's Corner was literally her introduction to using these products herself, and now she's obsessed. And it's Dr. Nick's that's giving her that springboard.
I'm so glad, Amber. It's and that's what I mean. Crossing those boundaries, that's how we cross pollinate. You know what I mean? Like it's and that's why eventually, like, it's still in my head. Like Amazing Man stuff. We have 10% of our customer base now that not purchases from us, but what we know is to use our products. Not there's lots of women that buy our products for their significant others, for example. But the amount of women who use our products, that's still one of those things that makes me be like, wow, like we might someday have to move away from Dr. Nick's like Amazing Man stuff to something like Dr. Nick's grooming products or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's starting to be, the gap is widening, I think, between or narrowing rather between the people who buy it and the people who use it and their gender.
It'll be Dr. Nick's Amazing Human stuff, and then eventually it'll be Dr. Nick's Amazing Earthling stuff, and then
carbon-based life form. Dr. Nick's Amazing carbon-based life form products. Stuff. Yeah, it'll need an acronym at that point. You know.
Well, guys, I really mean this. I'm sorry to say we are over time right now, and my wife has not seen me for more than 5 minutes in the last 4 to 5 days, and she doesn't normally stay up late, and she's staying up so we can talk
about
the
Sam.
go over the stories.
Thank you.
So I do, and imagine like she's been holding the house down. I run home, and I'm like, I got to go back into work, baby, and work in the best way possible, but I got to go get to her, so I cannot drag it out more, guys. I know you want to. I want to. We're just getting started. Every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, you guys, I am going to ask one thing from you. Next week, we're going to have a pretty cool show. I wanted to do it this week, but I wanted to talk about Command's Corner, and we had too many things to go over. Next week, we are going to do the random tangent roulette wheel, where I put into tangents on the roulette wheel. We spin it, and Nick and I in the community talk about whatever is on the screen. Here's where I need you. The Dr. Nick's Amazing Man stuff Instagram over the course of this week. It'll be on several different days, so you got to stay tuned and still watch their channel on Instagram. I'm going to be putting up on there and then sharing on my page and all this stuff, stories where you guys are going to submit the tangents. I'm not going to come up with any. Nick's not going to come up with any. I want you guys to think of topics you want to hear us riff about off the top of our head. Nick will not even be aware of the topics until the show starts. I will, because I got to put them in, but Nick's going to be completely off the top of the dome. So the Instagram page is in the chat. Go give them a follow. Check out the stories, and I vote fart bubbles, and you can put them in. If they're outlandish, they're probably still going to get in there, but Instagram, random tangents. What do you want us to talk about? Whether it's technology, yard, beverages, tattoos, life, philosophy, you put it in there, you guys, and we're likely are going to cover it, or at least it'll be the random fate of the roulette wheel that'll let us cover it. So I want to say thank you guys for an amazing night last night, an amazing day today, the kind words about my new hat. And beyond that, I'm going to kick it over to my friend, Mr. Nick. An amazing show tonight. Nick, final words for our friends and peeps in the chat, our carbon-based earthlings.
That's it. Our fellow companions on this floating mud ball.
Yeah.
That has lots of water on it, according to the girl sitting next to you on Delta.
Exactly.
So JB gets you wrecked. Surprise 24-hour stream. I'm not sure the world is ready. I'm just really not. Like, I think if that happens, all of a sudden there's going to be like the learning channel, with Nick and Dan, next thing you know, it's just going to go too crazy. So we're holding off,
Write that down though, because we're going to do in the future, we're going to do a very long stream, and it's going to be a charity stream. I'm going to put that into existence. We're going to make that happen. Maybe we bring on other owners. Maybe we bring on other people. Maybe we bring on spouses, and we have little shifts, and it's like a 6-hour stream at night or something like that, all going to charity. It's going to happen right now. Came up with it.
I'm literally willing to let someone follow me around with a live streaming camera for like let's see what the first 4 hours of Nick's day is like. And I'll just kind of like think out loud as I'm doing my boring stuff, like making coffee and getting things started with Interasac, handling dev meetings to India, and then going to the wood shop, then coming upstairs and doing this. And then we'll transfer right into the doctor's orders.
when I say matter of factly something's going to happen, it's going to happen. We're going to do a long charity stream in the future. Stay tuned, my friends.
I love that. But until then, we got to deal with this one being over, and we're already over time. So
sorry,
Dan's
Sam.
got to go because he's going to get a knock at the door soon, and I don't want to be the one responsible for it.
Yep,
so
got a message already.
We will see you guys next Tuesday. Please give us some good topics, and just remember, don't ask me about your bunion. I'm not that kind of doctor, but we'll see you at 1:00 next Tuesday. It'll be